we have two kinds of systems in our brain. One is automatic system, and another one is conscious system. So, like the word suggests, automatic is always unconscious. It's not aware. It runs automatically. So, but conscious system needs conscious effort. It needs a lot of effort to function. So we have these two kinds of system, and most of the time, around 90% of the time, we use our automatic system. Otherwise, we rely on our automatic system, and only 10% each we use our conscious system, because most of the day we do the same thing that we do every day. For example, imagine every the time you wake up till the moment you go to sleep. Whatever you do it every day. Almost everything that you do, you wake up, you brush your teeth, and just finish your morning routines, and then go to your office, meet the same people, and talk to the same people in the same way that you have done over and over. And you meet your spouse and children, and you have the same dialogues, the same conversation that you have exchanged over and over, and it becomes so boring, so repetitive. So you do the same thing every day. So our automatic system has all those, learned, all those conditioned behavior that we have done over and over. Therefore, it becomes so automatic. It becomes so, unconscious. You don't have to take any effort. So imagine yourself riding a bicycle. At first it was really difficult. You wanted to get that balance, and you needed to take a lot of effort in order to ride that cycle. But now you don't have to be even aware that you're riding this bicycle. You're not really aware. You're just enjoying it. You're not doing anything. You're automatic. So it's because that you have been conditioned, you have learned that behavior, and it becomes so automatic. But our conscious system is a creative part. It's the part that when we become so aware, so conscious. For example, imagine if I were to ask you what's 358 into 400. Now you need to use your conscious mind, otherwise your conscious brain, because you don't know the answer, you haven't learned it. Now if you want to get the answer, you need to work on it, you need to use some effort, and in order to do that, use your conscious mind. And we also use our conscious mind when there is a problem, there is an unknown activities, or when we find something unfamiliar. And those moments we use our conscious mind. And it is this creative part of the mind. And when we use our conscious mind, we are aware of what's going on, what's the stuff that we're dealing with. And probably most of our responses were based on that awareness of what's going on. But in automatic system, we're not truly aware, because every information that we receive, every stimuli we receive is filtered through our automatic system. So we are not really aware how we respond. Now that is also one of the reasons why we can't break our habits. We often find it quite difficult to break our habits or break any behavioral pattern. It because those behavioral patterns have become so automatic. It has become so repetitive. Now it's difficult to break that pattern, because every time when you learn something new, in your brain, the neurons, they make a neural pathway. So for example, imagine you're learning French, right? So you're learning the some new words, vocabularies for in French to talk about coffee, or things related to cafe. So when you're learning that, new neurons, they are connecting and forming new paths, new roads, new neural pathways, and they are just communicating each other. So as you learn and practice more, these neurons that are firing together, wired together. So as you practice more and more and more, these neurons become so strengthened that you can't even break that pattern. because it has become so strengthened. Now it is a highway, right? So whenever you hear a new, the French word that you have learned for a long time, you just automatically answer. You know what it means, and you don't have to take your conscious effort. Okay, what does that word mean? You don't have to take an effort, because it becomes, a part of your automatic system. That connection becomes so, stronger, that you don't have to think about it. So this is to do with our every behavioral pattern, every habits, because almost every habit is this neural pathway. So once they become a part of us, once they become a habit, now the neural pathway becomes so stronger that you cannot break it. Now, the only way to break that habit is to become aware, is to become conscious of the stimuli, of the information we receive, and by understanding, analyzing, by reading, processing that information consciously instead of unconsciously, which means just using our conscious mind instead of relying on the automatic system. We can create a response, choose a possibility instead of just following the same pattern that we've been following. So CIA is about becoming conscious of these stimuli that we receive. So since we are unaware most of the time, we can now rely on our conscious system to become aware of the stimuli, how we receive this information and what kind of answer, what kind of response we give back. And once we become aware of that information, we can, decode the information. Because your automatic system, analyzes every information based on your past experiences. Now, if that past experience is bad, if it is unhealthy, if it is not really, good for your health, then probably you will misinterpret the information. So the best thing is to analyze the information, to understand what that information, what that stimuli contains, and based on that understanding, creating a response. Otherwise, choosing a possibility. Now, I call this choosing a possibility instead of creating a response, because there is always a possibility. There is always a possibility. So suppose imagine you were to smoke, right? So it becomes a habit, and so imagine you are a smoker and you want to get rid of this habit so badly. So the first thing that we need to do in order to get rid of that behavior pattern is to understand, where we smoke, when we smoke, to become aware of that information we receive. Because smoking, that kind of habit, that following the behavioral pattern, is pieces of information. So we see something, or whenever there is a specific time, or whenever we see somebody, or when we go to the shop, that the shop and the people that we meet, the time and the place, everything is pieces of information. And when we receive that information, our brain automatically decides, okay, let's go and smoke. This is a problem. So instead of just using our automatic system, we can become conscious of why, where, and how I smoke. Become conscious of my behavior, and then after becoming conscious of my own behavior, then I can choose a possibility. I can create a better response. That means instead of smoking, I can choose intentionally. I can choose a response. I can choose my possibility, because I have that freedom. So CIA is all about this becoming conscious of this behavioral pattern, and then choosing a possibility based on the understanding, knowledge of this information.